Erica Pruitt.
This is Shanto Chapter.
Delegate on the line.
Good morning, Honorable Daniels. What is your location?
Good morning, Kienta.
Okay,
Arizona.
thank you. And hello.
Hello.
good morning.
Yes, Thomas Walker here. Howard.
Good morning, Vice Chair Walker. What is your location?
I'm in Winslow, Arizona.
Okay, thank you.
Delegate Slater.
Morning, Delegate Slater. Welcome.
Okay, Chair.
Good morning, Delegate Smith on board.
Good morning, Honorable Smith. Out there, Ben.
So, Yate.
Honorable Freeland, are you on the line? Honorable Kiel Begay.
Leo Watchman, Department of Agriculture.
Morning, Mr. Watchman.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chair. Callan's here.
Morning, Honorable Begay. What is your location?
Najam Tariq,
Chair, good morning, Kealan, from Mint Farms.
Okay. Thank you.
Jason, John.
Honorable members of RDC, we do have a quorum now. It is currently 10:12 a.m. My name is Rick Niz, Chair of RDC. I'm going to call this meeting to order at this time. So, Ms. Begay, would you do the roll call? Ms. Begay? Let's just hold on here for a moment. She's trying to call in. So.
Chair, this is Trace. I can do the roll call.
Yes, go ahead,
Okay.
Ms. Woody.
Good morning, RDC members. Chair, all those are listening. Roll call for today's regular RDC meeting, and it's July 1st, 2020. Roll call, Ricky Nez.
Here.
Okay, Wilson Stewart Jr.
Marty,
Thomas Walker
for
Jr. Okay, Thomas Walker Jr.
I'm present.
Herman Daniel.
Good morning. I'm here.
Mark Freeland. T. Allen Begay Jr.
Delegate Kealan here.
Okay, Chair, you have 4 members present, and it constitutes a quorum to conduct the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Woody. We'll go down and have the invocation. Honorable Daniels, would you provide the invocation? Before we do, everybody that's on the line, could you please put your phones on mute? Put your phones on mute. Thank you. Go ahead, Honorable Daniels.
Good morning, Chair, Adonana Koto, honorable members of the Resources and Development Committee, staff, the ones that are on the line listening. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Herman Daniels. Yeah, now once again, Lenny Hona. Yeah, Honsman, Yarskis, Quaggy Hona, Asanami, Little Hona. It's the Hoys Nego, Asani, Hona. Adonan Kodo, and Yay, Long Ecuador, Kota Inahot at E. D. Jehona. Adonat Juno E. Hona. None cities need the Jehona. Should the end lean hon to the machine Hona. Yesa on the sword on the state Jehona. Altobe, yet hitch the home, yet yet here. I don't say kiss the Azu the Hona. Then he's on the soundless and he can't was a stopper. Yet Ehodo, now the cities needs the Jehona. Adonana, he isn't the Hodis next door, yet ego, skip it, he's on yet ego hona. I don't know how died the kid on ho, Edo yet ego hona. Sadinta, not I thought as hona. Adonana hona. Where holds this hona? Stigen aan de scene honen. I am han klaar ik hoor het aan honen. Dan wil ik om meer keer kago. Dan han klaar het aan carrière honen. Honen daar die honen zijn niet toch nasneki honen. Ik honen die transnet of niet transnet honen. Als honen zelfs aan de zonder dat je de 'n 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 sabta $1 hona allt från inte har $9 hona hona det bara hon det att äger det kända att hon inte har $9 hona är allt för hona så ser hona bara det har i hona vilket är det har skrädan la hona är alltså så vilket det och hon inte hona ke we långt an det så hona och det äger hona hade allon ha $1 shidin leni hona adonan hona meje hona vi hade kanske inte hon det ja det är Islanda nästan det väl $6 hona ado hona alltså $9 hona det är nation Navajo nation hona executive branch as the nation Melba the nation president Ned ado the vice president Mr. Lizer ado bandaj the directors dan lenigi ado bandaj hona alltså sabla $1 hona ودون تاع السوداء يكونوا تيجي له دا إنيلش لهونا شبشة مسود ولا شعرنا شتا يجن لهونا بدا إنيش لهونا بيدا speakers legislative branch إيده هو شبشة مسود ولا بيد نيش هونا أرنا judicial branch ما أج بدا إنيش لهونا كام chief justice إيده هونا ياد إيكو هونا شبشة مسود ولا هونا تيجي هونا أرس كاري وشن ado hona nik etan la hon beli san da hal trauna pada ha job pa ia hona jenes ego pada ha job pa ia hona edo hona adi chin han na da do ka hon adi chin hu ya de enda dot le hona adi chin bada ha bil to do le hona whatever so the ni pa ha sti do le hona his last so dan le hona his loud dan le hona ado zeis endan le hona غابت عنده كي هنا شديد نقصين هنا وهاي هون سولت نيبه هاسيد ولا جاهم شهند هنا أرونا هون ينال لوش دا كي هنا إيرو هون بده جو بايا بايك إدي كاش هنا أودون ده هاشكين ده شهون هنا تبدأ ده هي هنا أدو ده هذا نشوفون هون كان ده هنا يكيس هذا ده شيء شديد نقصين هنا وهاي هون ناس لوش لنيجي هون فبابا هاسيد ولا شو هنا أرد تشلمز أنا أرد باتنز هون فخادي نص ولا هنا وهذا هاسيد ولا هنا أرد أشكو هنا شاوشي بقى هذا إشلال زنا أشكو هون شاكي هنا الآن هذا دوشي شاكي هنا الآن هذا دوشي هنا شديد نقشيني هنا وهذا هاسيد ولا هنا أرد هنا نجيب الناس أعود إيد ولا هنا Amen. I don't know. I'll tell you. You have to let one. Cause you're not clean. You're not clean. You're not clean. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, Honorable Daniels, really appreciate your prayer. Thank you very much. Any announcements? RDC members, Honorable Walker.
Chair, there are no announcements from my end at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable Daniels, announcements?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, announcements. Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Begay.
Good morning, Chair. I looked up back to the local chapter. If I'm being asked to be at so many different locations at one time, it really makes it hard for me to, because I choose to be here on the RDC meeting because this is my duty at the RDC meeting every Wednesday. I'm not telling people or not asking chapters to change or accommodate my schedule, but I believe the Division Community Development and ASC really needs to work closely with the chapters, so that way we do our job as a delegate. As we're speaking, I have three of my chapters having their planning meeting, and I've been stressing to them about having I have RDC as a regular meeting on on Wednesdays, and then other that comes up, just like today, we'll have a special session again at 2:00. So anyway, 8A, because how do we make this not as an issue, knowing that the local chapter knows that the delegate has other duties that we do here at our regular committee meeting, but at the same time, they do need our help at their local level. But how do we address that to say that, okay, if you want the delegate to attend or participate in the local planning meeting, maybe address it to where they at least have give us a good notice to say that this is when they're having their planning meeting. So Arjun did put that though. Like today, there was no official. There's no official. Or the first day, not like on the first of the month. I mean, all these meetings are being conducted, and then after the fact, after these meetings, these are the tasks that you need to do. Or you other things could only get now. So again, like I said, Chair, I'm not asking local chapters to accommodate the delegate scheduling, but I guess it's just a matter for them to have an understanding that we have a meeting. We conduct meetings as well on the weekly basis. So like today, just need 3 local chapter meetings, planning meetings are being at the very same time, 10 o'clock. I'm being expected, but I probably won't be attending, obviously. So more of like a comment or, I don't know, a concern, but I do provide them my schedule at the delegates level. Then these monthly delegate schedule. 8 chapters to give so, but still yet they choose to have meetings. And again, but if I'm not being at the chapters meetings or participating, I'm kind of like being told that so but again, like I said, this is my duty as a delegate for RDC meetings, so I choose to participate for today's meeting. So Chairman, maybe have kind of like a discussion with the Division Community Development and ASC. Maybe what I'm being asked to do is not being performed by the division. Maybe, I don't know. So Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Begay, for your concerns. Just to let you know, this morning I went and attended a planning meeting at my chapter at 8 o'clock this morning, and they put me up front for the report. So I provided a report. I was there for an hour, and then I left by 9:15. I told them that I need to get going. I have a teleconference. So I drove back, and I got here in time to get on the line. So I understand how we can be stretched very thin with our commitments as delegates. Not only do we represent our chapters, our precinct chapters, we also represent the whole 110 chapters. So we take action on a lot of these legislations concerns for our chapters, and we are public servants, so we do the best we can. And I do have the same concerns, and I try, and just like any one of our colleagues do, try and disseminate information by email to let them know what council is doing. I know during this time, a lot of our chapters have concerns how do we start? Where do we start? We need guidance from DCDASC for waterline projects. Some people do not have home site leases. How can that be accomplished so people can have water? Certain laws probably need to be looked at, and perhaps all we can do is encourage constituents through our chapter officials, to even grazing officials, to provide some sort of guidance and tell them to start the process now. Work on your home site right now. Now that we're getting this, work on it, do as the best you can, and hopefully it'll get done. But, you know, there again, people need water. How do we give them water when they don't have home site leases? We probably need to have that discussion also with Department of Ag and the grazing officials as to how we can do and make it easier for our people so they can have running water to spend all this money based off the meals on into that. So I understand your concern, Delegate Begay. I believe that we all are experiencing the same issue that you brought forth to us, and all we can do is do our best. And thank you, Sanant. As RDC members, I believe that we can alternate. If we can have a quorum of 4 people, one of us can go attend our meeting if we need to be there at 10 o'clock, if that's when they start, or 11 o'clock. And we can just cover for each other that way. So long as we have a quorum, we can be respectful and allowing others, delegates, to attend their chapters so they can report to their chapters on this CARES Act, because this is something they really need. So, Honorable Begay. Honorable Freeland.
Good morning, Chairman Arash. Good morning from Hanantlehe up north. I'm in my northern territory, Herfino chapter. I'm at a planning meeting as well. I'm getting ready to travel another 85, 90 miles back down south to the Senti chapter for another planning meeting. So I'm going to be on the road again, and then I'm going to Standing Rock from there. So like my brother, I do have 3 planning meetings today. The chapters did ask me to be there, and it's all because of the 116 preparation legislation, and they're wanting, of course, guidance, but they're also wanting my input and, my assistance on some of these projects. And it all pertains to water lines and infrastructure development. So I'm glad my brother brought this up. I have 8 chapters, and I do my very best to go to all my planning meetings and all my chapter meetings. It's not easy, but I do my best. And I think at this time it's real important as delegates, yes, to be visible and to attend our meetings, but to provide guidance, to provide any sort of direction and input. And the big part, Iggy, is asking questions like what you just brought up, Chair, about the home site, Iggy, because we have checkerboard out here. And does that mean that we're not going to have any opportunities to get right-to-ways done by December? That's going to be probably almost nearly to impossible. But what I've been asking my chapters is, would cistern systems and solar units be suffice? And if that's the case, do our people need to have home site leases? If they don't have a home site lease, will they get a solar system and a cistern system as well? And I think what you brought up is real important, Chair, is looking at amending the law, because I don't want to leave anyone out. I don't want to leave children out or any families. And, if we can help them just that much, if we can bring some happiness and some opportunity and joy to their lives with just a simple running water through cistern system, that'll make a huge difference for them. But I appreciate this conversation, and I'll do my best. I'm going to be off and on I need to talk to Chris Vicente again, because I'm going to be on the highway where cell service is really up and down. So that doesn't mean I'm jumping off, but I'll jump back on if I lose a signal. Good morning to you, my brothers and my colleagues and everyone, staff, and Fanigi on this call. I look forward to a very thorough discussion and reports this morning. Yes, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Freeland, for your announcement and concern there as well. Any other announcements, Shananta? None? Okay. We'll go down to recognizing guests and visiting officials. We'll start with our honorable members of RDC. Honorable Walker.
Yes, thank you, Chair, committee members, and our legislative staff. Although our other delegates, colleagues that are with us this morning on this call, although the meeting participants, although the listening audience, Thomas Walker Jr. although we are city to Nana Hassan no Takon ha get Ponahli to just cousin is a bit of a panasha, but nothing game which was on what he done pinch. I could echo other the Resource and Development Committee, Shaho vice chairperson with echo although yet General Shane Kaki Gliko, Cash Chedo, Tourism Ben Kahin Zigi, Delegate Daniels, by Kay Long, we take care.
Honorable Daniels.
Good morning, Chair. Honorable members of the Resources and Development Committee. I don't see staff local Shama Nosha. The Legislative Council that the East Franco. I don't go the great I don't fangi go them. I go them. Go see the East Franco. Or Asia go. I don't know go. She Herman Daniels Jr. Is she go. I don't know go. I don't know Shinigi Petani. I don't know Kilachini. That's it. I don't that's a Nalagis got so. That's a chege to a head lini, not creating that. That's a chego without mentioning. I don't know. If you're not shy in a way, the great monument path, if you hold yet, or the great come here to the Hashnivia, just right in the area. I don't think that's shako. I don't know. The chapters that I represent, the Oljeto, I don't know, shot to I be Kent, not if any, but the shako, what I do is an honest in, what I. The mention thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Daniels. Honorable Freeland. Honorable Biquet.
Good morning, Chair again. Although some RDC members. Vice Chair, brother. Ado brother, Nana, brother, do Ado Che, Mr. Daniel. Ado staff of Sinigi, Skihanil Zinigi, Doskihanil Zinigi, Kodo, Sedache, Hanagan Aid National Key on the Ada Shajato, but Anita Che. Ado Dischine National. I take care of 5 chapters from the central agency, Blue Mountain, Tachipu Gap, Salani Canwood, Noslini, and mini farms. Kodit A, Kodos, and Inson. The other area that I forgot to mention, Chair, and I did send an email yesterday or the other day, as we're speaking, I'm watching C-SPAN regarding the 1.5 trillion structure being discussed. And I've been looking at some of our delegation to see if they have submitted any projects on behalf of Navajo. The only one I know is in Arizona, O'Halloran, waterline projects. No, you had see so. Kudo INDOT. My focus is INDOT. A team that's yard and dingy that's submitted the yield and I CC'd the Navajo Nation Washington office to see if they have any information about if there's any funding being requested on behalf of the Navajo Nation. So yeah, so that's the other area. I believe maybe next meeting, next Wednesday, give them sufficient time to provide us some type of an update if there's anything that the Navajo Nation, not just only transportation, but all programs across that are oversight on Lindegi, if they're submitting any funding requests through this funding a bill that's being discussed at DC level. So I thought that's the other area that I need to, RDC needs to have a follow-up. Appreciate it, Chair.
Honorable Begay, are you talking about the HR2?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Thank you. Staff, could you introduce yourselves? Ms. Begay?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, and those that are listening in to the meeting. I do apologize for getting on the line late. We have bad internet and telephone reception problems up here, and I think it's because of the fire that's happening a few miles from here. I'm calling from Sawmill, Arizona. I don't know, Creedinage, I don't the Bessagen, but just seeing goodbye, they that should say, don't touch me, they that should not die, and then I don't die, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Begay. Ms. Woody?
Chair, good morning. Yat epene RDC members nikito anas ho. Yat en snidole te ya Teresa Woody and that le steamboat de who yet de ko ade shne tita. Che ya tapa han shdo the battle jene bashichi nana ki ane da shichedo tena jene da shnale. Which ya ni da snidole ti beniki baby do here who he's not a not after so it's an argue that they call here dole chair.
Thank you, Ms. Woody. Ms. Khan?
Mr. Chair, this is Mariana Khan. I need to make mine short. I'm in the process of driving, but I am calling from on my way to Winter Rock to get to the office, and Nishlinigi 848 Limi Nishlin, but I need Bashish change Ashchi Dashiche. Kendrickina Dashanala Akut Hours on the Shlin. Put this odd in Sharon. I am happy to be on the call and ready for questions, Mr. Chair, and I'm making my way to the office so I'll have more access to some references. Good morning to one and all.
Thank you, Ms. Khan. Honorable members of the 24th Council, Honorable Slater. Honorable Raymond Smith, Jr.
Oh, yeah, they've been chaired. Those staff.
Honorable Smith, you're broken up.
Good morning. I'm Vice Chair Smith. The Nen Shinigate, the Bessazendo, not right. 24th.
Thank you, Honorable Smith. Honorable Slater.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I appreciate the opportunity to present the legislation today. Kiani something that Bush Chin, Jimmy Dishchair, something that Dashanoa, Jennifer Dent, Nasha. For those of you on the line, my name is Carlos Slater. I'm Kia Ani, born for the Jewish people. I represent the chapters of Round Rock, Rough Rock, Rock Point, Lugachukai, and Sailor Wheatfield.
Thank you, Honorable Slater. Any other members of the 24th Council on? None. Let's go to our Speaker's office staff, Ms. Siako.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair and members of the Resources and Development Committee. Yes, I have been Che Melinda Arbiso Siyaku Yin Chiedo, Tana Janine Shlonki, Ani Bashish Chin, Dot Woodich Ini Dash Che, Dot Dash Chitney Dash another. Yeah.
Thank you. Department of Ag, Mr. Watchman.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, audience, staff. Thank you.
Anybody else from Department of Ag? Water Resources, Mr. John.
Yes, good morning, everybody. Jason John, Director of Water Resources here.
Any other staff from Water Resources? Anybody else on the line? Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Good morning. This is Rena Chris with Navajo Times.
Good morning, Chairman Nez. This is Roland So, grading official with Mini Farms Chapter.
Good morning, Chairman and members of RDC. This is Nicole Horse-Herder with Twanajona Annette and presenting with Honorable Carl Slater.
Good morning, Chairman Nez and members of RDC. This is Arash Nathan Moalami with NTUA.
Good morning, Michael Anderson from Page, Arizona, just listening in.
Good morning, Chair and members of RDC. This is Erica Pro with Navajo DOJ Natural Resources Unit.
Good morning, everyone. This is Brian Curly Chain, Department of Justice.
Good morning, Veronica Blackcat, also with Navajo Nation Department of Justice Natural Resources Unit.
Anybody else?
Good morning, Honorable Chair. This is Arthur Hardy, LDA for Honorable Raymond Smith.
Anybody else on the line? Okay, we can move forward to reviewing and approving the agenda. Ms. Begay, would you read the agenda, please?
Again, good morning to the committee and all those that are listening in to our meeting today. This is RDC Resource Development Committee of the 24th Navajo Nation Council teleconferencing RDC regular meeting, July 1st, 2020, 10 a.m. agenda. Presiding, Ricky Naz, Chairperson, Thomas Walker Jr., Vice Chairperson. 1, call meeting to order, roll call, invocation, announcement. 2, recognizing guests and visiting officials. 3, reviewing and approving the agenda. 4, reviewing and approving the journals for May 6, May 13, and May 20, 2020. 5, receiving report. A, an update report on the current Navajo Nation drought condition and plans to address the situation. You have presenters from the Department of Water Resources and Department of Agriculture. B, an update report on the status of the proposed drought declaration as submitted by Water Resources. Presenter will be Herman Shorty, Chairperson of Emergency Management Commission. C, an update report on Navajo Nation Shopping Center. Presenter will be Nicholas Taylor, the CEO for Navajo Nation Shopping Center Enterprise. 6, old business, none. 7, new business. A, legislation 005920. B, legislation 013820. C, approving an RDC leadership meeting in preparation for the upcoming waterline project with IHS, OEH, NTUA, Navajo Nation Land Department, General Land Development, BIA, NECA, Navajo Nation Office of the Controller and Division of Community Development. 8, conclusion committee meeting, other announcement, adjournment. Mr. Chair, members of the committee.
Thank you, Ms. Begay. Honorable members of RDC, I'd like to have a motion and a second.
I'll motion, Chair. Kay Allen.
Honorable Begay, motion, second by.
I'll second, Chair. Stewart from Fort Defiance.
Thank you, Honorable Stewart. Any questions? Amendments?
Chair, this is Daniels.
Daniels, go ahead.
Good morning, Chair. I don't know what agenda and deal. Should say my little brother Doug Stewart maybe we can add it on to the report, not reports, but at least maybe after C new business the deed as either the nations and to a leadership meeting with Navajo Nation Oil and Gas to give us an update on where everything's at. I know yesterday we had a meeting with oil and gas and the shareholders. I don't know, could chair I hadn't seen it, so I had to have a give an update to RDC members. Then they go so chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Daniels. Honorable Daniels will include Department of Justice on that as well, since they provided the update. Abigail.
Yes, Abigail, Chair.
Okay. Any other? We'll have a amendment one. Motion for amendment 1. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Chair, this is Freeland.
Honorable Freeland, go ahead.
Could we have also a follow-up discussion on our feral horses with Dr. Shabala? And it's going to probably more than likely be an all-day meeting as scheduled, but we really need to discuss this and maybe include the BLM, the BIA, especially out here in Eastern Navajo. If the BLM is willing to work with us on resources and particularly how they're working, if there's the issue with the Roundup program that was being discussed previously, how can we move forward and coming up with a plan and working with federal partners as well? Thank you.
Honorable Freeland, can we add that as E to schedule a leadership meeting on that, feral horses?
Please.
Okay.
We need to make sure Dr. Shabala is on that discussion, though. And maybe I think since Mr. Watchman is on the call, to have them as well. But what is the plan going to be? Yes, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Amendment 1 would like to have a motion to add a leadership meeting.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Excuse me. I have that leadership meeting scheduled for July 6th, and that's going to be based on the proposal for the horse removal and a proposed budget to be presented by Department of Agriculture, and whether if the insurance money that's received by Department of Ag could be used for that purpose, and whether the UUFB could be used, and also continue to have discussion on the drought issue. Those were discussed at the last meeting. And so I'm working to schedule that meeting on July 6th.
Okay. I appreciate that. I didn't know you were doing that, but thank you. That's going to be a very important call.
Thank you,
So
Ms.
we don't
McKay.
need to add it to the agenda today.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll
Thank you.
rescind my request with the speaker, Mr. Chair. I'll rescind that request since it's already been done.
Okay.
Would it be okay if we did legislations first?
Honorable Freeland, could you turn up the volume?
I'm sorry, Chair.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Would we be able to do our legislations first?
Honorable Freeland, what we can do is suspend the floor rules when we get to reports and go to legislations first, and then we'll do the reports afterward.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we'd like to have a motion and a second for Amendment 1 to add leadership meeting for Navajo Nation Oil and Gas, a report from Department of Justice as well as Navajo Nation Oil and Gas, and perhaps the Minerals Department too.
I'll make that motion. This is Daniel.
Honorable Daniel's motion, second by
Freeland.
Honorable Freeland seconds the motion. Any questions? If not, Honorable Freeland, how do you vote?
Green, like Nappy Field.
Honorable Stewart.
Green.
Honorable Begay.
Green.
Honorable Walker.
I vote green.
Honorable Daniels.
Green.
A vote of 5 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. Motion carries for Amendment 1. We'll go back to the main motion. Any questions? None. Honorable Freeland, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Stewart.
Green.
Honorable Begay.
Green.
Honorable Walker.
I vote green.
Honorable Daniels.
Green.
A vote of 5 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. Motion carries. We've adopted the agenda with one amendment. We'll go down to number 4, reviewing and approving journals from May 6, May 11, and May 20, 2020. I'd like to have a motion and a second.
Motion, Chair.
Honorable Stewart, motion, second by
Freeland.
Honorable Freeland. Thank you. Any questions? None. Honorable Freeland, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Stewart.
Green.
Honorable Begay.
Green.
Honorable Walker.
Green.
Honorable Daniels.
Green.
A vote of 5 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. Motion carries. We'll adopt the journals from May 6, May 13, and May 20. Thank you. Receiving reports, Nanda. Is there a motion to suspend the floor rules and go to legislations?
Motion to suspend floor rules.
Honorable Stewart, motion, second by
Freeland.
Honorable Freeland, second. Any questions? None. Honorable Freeland, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Stewart.
Green.
Honorable Begay.
Green.
Honorable Walker.
I vote green.
Honorable Daniels.
Green.
A vote of 5 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting, motion carries. We'll suspend the floor rules and go directly to new business. A, legislation 0059-20. Ms. Begay, would you read that into the record? Honorable Smith, are you still on the line? Honorable Smith? Honorable Smith, going once. Honorable Smith, I hope you're not on mute. Going twice. Honorable Smith. Going 3 times. Honorable Smith. Mr. Hardy, could you text Honorable Smith? We'll go to B, legislation 0138-20. Honorable Slater, are you present?
Just a moment for Honorable Slater.
Honorable Slater? Shanantai, Honorable Slater and Honorable Smith, you have to unmute.
That's A.
Honorable Smith.
So Delegate Slater.
Delegate Slater, thank you.
Apologize, I
Ms.
was on the
Begay?
committee meeting.
Ms. Begay, could you read legislation 0138-20 in for the record?
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, you have a legislative summary sheet for tracking number 0138-20. The date on it is June 22nd, 2020. This legislation is a proposed standing committee resolution relating to Resource Development Committee and the Nabakia Committee, adopting a Navajo Nation position, supporting continued dialogue and partnership with the City of Los Angeles to facilitate the development of clean energy projects on the Navajo Nation and supporting efforts for the Navajo Nation right to use 500 megawatts of the capacity on the Navajo generating station's southern and western transmission system. The purpose of this legislation is to, 1, support continued dialogue with the City of Los Angeles, its City Council delegates and representatives of the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power to determine the feasibility of partnership with the Navajo Nation on developing clean energy project on Navajo land, as long as any such project include components of tribal ownership. 2, authorize a group of delegates to lead discussions and or negotiation with officials from the City of Los Angeles. And 3, authorize a group of the designated delegates to host a formal visit of city officials to the Navajo Nation with the purpose of identifying potential projects on Navajo Nation and the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power to partner on. This legislation is assigned to Resource Development Committee, and Nabakia Committee will have final authority. The prime sponsor of the legislation is Carl Slater, and the packet was posted on the council website on June 23rd, 2020. 5-day comment period ended on June 28, 2020. There was no comments received. Mr. Chair, members of the committee, this legislation will be fully read into the record at Nabakia Committee. Again, Mr. Chair. this legislation will be moving forward to our Navi. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Begay. Honorable members of RDC would like to have a motion and a second.
I'll motion, Chair. Freeland.
Honorable Freeland, motion, second by. Is there a second?
I'll make the second, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Daniels, second. We'll go to Honorable Slater, presenter, and your agents.
Thank you, Chair, committee members, and thank you for the opportunity to present the legislation. As mentioned earlier, my agent is Nicole Horstherder with and this legislation is a fairly simple one in terms of what it's going to produce. We on the Navajo Nation are blessed with an abundance of natural resources, and as we look to the 21st century and how we can use our resources in a responsible and sustainable way that is mutually beneficial for us and whoever we may partner with to develop them. So we have a lot of transmission capacity on the nation due to the legacy of the coal-fired power plants that were on Navajo or adjacent to Navajo. Using that access, we have an opportunity to develop renewables or sustainable energy development projects on Navajo, whether it's wind or solar. This legislation doesn't make a commitment to any sort of type of project as long as it's a renewables project. It doesn't say that, it's privileging one over the other or anything to that effect. It merely pushes for a collaboration between the Navajo Nation and the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power and the City of Los Angeles to modernize our relationship so that the principles of, let's say, equitable treatment in our relationship, how resources flow from the nation to LA and vice versa, are equitable and responsive to our local communities. But I'm going to hand it off to Ms. Horstherder to talk about the genesis of the relationship. But I think it's really important for all of us to understand that the legislation does not make any commitments in any way, shape, or form, but authorizes a group of delegates to advocate and negotiate on behalf of the nation and the council for the purposes of developing a renewables project that can use the transmission access that either the nation has or LADWP has. And we'll see how those negotiations and conversations go. But at this point, we need to demonstrate that the legislative branch and as the decision-making body of the Navajo Nation is supportive of this initiative so that LA City Council, LADWP, everybody knows that the Navajo Nation is supportive of this conversation. So, Ms. Horstherder, I'll hand it off to you right now. Yeah.
Ms. Horstherder?
Yeah. The Navajo Nation Council Resource Development Committee Chairman and members of the RDC, Nicole Horstherder, Shishutnan, Belakana Bashichin, Diani Dashiche, Ado Belakana Dashinal, Ado Tsichin de you see Nashat Ado Adeo Nichan Hashnasto. Thank you, Delegate Slater Shiche, for presenting this legislation. I want to go to the PowerPoint presentation. It's fairly simple, and it just lays out the background of the idea and the thinking behind this project. So if you would please look at your PowerPoint presentation. This is a energy partnership between the Navajo Nation and the City of Los Angeles.
Ms. Horsharder, could you hold? Yeah. Ms. Horsharder, let me interrupt you.
Sure.
Ms. Begay, did you, Nicole, did you send it to us?
It was sent to the advisor, Ms. Begay.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, I haven't received anything. I just received a message from Carl Slater saying that a PowerPoint was going to be forthcoming, and I just texted him back a few minutes ago saying I need the PowerPoint. So I haven't received anything.
I have an email that I sent at 8:18. Let me resend it out right now to the committee members, okay?
Okay, Honorable Slater. So, Ms. Horsharder, could you just go ahead and just do a summary of your PowerPoint presentation until we receive it? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. So let me just go back approximately 1 year from now. May 3rd, 2019, we sent our first letter to Chairman Martinez and the city council members of the Los Angeles City Council. And they have an Energy, Climate Change, and Environmental Justice Committee. The City of Los Angeles Council oversees the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, their utility. And for just a reminder to the delegates of the RDC that the LADWP was a part owner to the NGS and has ownership shares to the transmission lines that come off of the now closed Navajo generating station. And the purpose of this letter was to introduce ourselves and say we are looking for a partnership between the Navajo Nation and the City of Los Angeles. We once had a partnership through the NGS where we supplied the raw materials, and as part owner of NGS, you generated the energy which went to Los Angeles on your transmission lines. Now that the NGS has shut down, let us continue this partnership where we continue to put energy on those transmission lines and continue to serve the City of Los Angeles. And this letter was taken, it was very well received. We had a very good response. One of the councilmen from the LA City Council immediately took it up and sponsored a motion which was passed in December. Very late in December, and let me give you the date, December 11th, 2019. And the councilman from the LA City Council, his name is Mitch O'Farrell. And so what they did is they did a motion to pursue this partnership and proceed to do what's called a feasibility study. This feasibility study is currently being done. You don't want to go pay for something?
Ms. Horsharder, could you hold on one moment? Everybody that's on the teleconference call, please mute your phone. I'm asking you to respectfully mute your phones. Background. Go ahead, Ms. Horsharder.
So I wanted to let the council delegates know that we actually met with city council members and the mayor's office in February of this year. And we were able to go about and have a series of meetings with all these offices. I was able to help coordinate these meetings with the president's office. So the president and members of his staff were present at these meetings. But while we were meeting, key councilmen were asking how much the Navajo Nation Council supported this potential project. And, you know, while I had given this resolution to a number of delegates, including making my presentation in October to RDC at Tadagan, there was no resolution that had come forward, and there was no resolution that was working its way through the state committees at that time. So it's fine that legislation is finally here, and you have the opportunity to support this resolution and assign council delegates to be part of the team to continue to explore this partnership. And just basically what the PowerPoint will show you is that every time a coal plant goes down, and for that matter, anytime a power generating plant goes down, that means that transmission lines now don't have energy passing through it. This is the case with NGS. So in one of the PowerPoint slides, I give you a map that shows that there are power lines going from Nevada, Utah, and Arizona into the city of Los Angeles. And so what that is showing you is that all across the Southwest, where existing power lines are, every time a power plant goes offline.
Ms. Horseherder?
Yes.
I hate to interrupt you, but someone, Ashwater, everyone that's on the teleconference call, please mute your phones. There's still a lot of background noise. Ashwater, ni pes behanna besin job basida so besin dein basa banayo ni phone made that say Ashwater. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Horseherder. Sorry about that.
Thank you. So one of the slides shows a map of all the transmission that's heading into Los Angeles. Every time a power plant goes offline, that much capacity, transmission capacity, is now freed up. And so what you should expect going forward in this partnership is to explore how we would put a Navajo project, a Navajo energy generating project, how we're going to put that power on any one of those transmission lines into the city of Los Angeles. And one of the other things I'd like to point out is that even though the Navajo Nation has rights to 500 megawatts given by the Bureau of Reclamation from the closure of NGS, you should not hold yourself to only that 500 megawatt capacity that the Navajo Nation has ownership share to. You should seek to explore to put energy on LA's transmission lines as well, on LA's share of the transmission lines. So you should not hold yourself back to the 500 megawatts is what I'm saying to the Navajo Nation Council. I think the maps that I include in the PowerPoint is very informational, and I just want to recap one last thing, and that is that the partnership would have mutual benefits for both the LA Department of Water and Power and the Navajo Nation. For the LA Department of Water and Power, it will help. We will be helping them meet their 100% renewable energy goal. This project will capture the economic benefits of declining renewable energy costs. This project will help with economic equity. This project will help diversify the renewable energy generation sources serving LA. It will help put energy back on the existing transmission lines that are not carrying any of energy at this time. And it will help with long-term certainty through contracts. For the Navajo Nation, we will be helping to meet the Sunrise Tlayolkah Proclamation to prioritize renewable energy development. There will be long-term sustainable benefits for our Diné people. There will be compensation for the revenue losses due to coal facility closing. There will be an opportunity to retrain coal-related jobs to renewable generation jobs. There will be long-term economic stability, and we will be capitalizing on our transmission rights. And I just want to leave it at that and just say finally, we're asking the Navajo Nation Council to support this legislation, to commit to the partnership between Navajo Nation and the City of Los Angeles. And what we would like to see is a tribally built, owned, and operated renewable energy project of the Navajo Nation. And that we hope to see the council identify liaisons from this council to move this partnership forward and provide the necessary funding and commitment to facilitate the project development. And the Navajo Nation Council would commit to principal negotiations with the goal of mutual and equitable benefits. And I think that sums it up very very clearly. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Horst-Herder. Back to the sponsor, Mr. Honorable Slater.
Thank you,
Honorable
Chair.
Slater.
Can you hear me, Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, colleagues. I appreciate the consideration. I think it's very straightforward, and we have resources, we have potential customers, and we have an ability to identify the path forward for a relationship that is not exploitative, but instead is mutually beneficial, and using renewable resources that I think align more with our values and how we can make less of an impact to our environment and preserve the resources that we have here in the nation. So I ask for your positive consideration. Legislation will go to NABI after this, and we are open for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Slater. Naidov Kiddish, any questions, comments on legislation 0138-20?
Chair Kaelin.
Honorable Begay, go ahead.
Bahasito Diche. Slash Kodo, Mr. Slater, Delegate Slater, and then Ado Kodos Riaja, Mr. Horst-Herder. Hello, this advisor. Do you know if there was any comment submitted on this legislation from Office of Legislative Service? Do we have any document from there?
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, the document that I sent you this morning did not have any comments that were officially submitted to the Legislative Council's legislative services. So there's no comments received, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Honorable Begay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. Of course, she does. I think needed that though to ban has not quite. I just want to make sure that there are supporting documents, maybe by Nabi meeting that kodo hit ala di kodo kodo nisat insen akoko. And then the other question I have, especially with the the title, adopting the Navajo Nation position, supporting the continued dialoguing and partnership with the City of Los Angeles. Akoko halit laki kagato has agato ke has agila dida City of the Reservation. Now, what are the terms of these city officials that are presently on the council over there at Los Angeles? Will their term end pretty soon? Those that are supporting it, let's say that they may be leaving pretty soon, but another group of councils comes in and change course. What do we do? Maybe provide us their term. The city council then will they be ending their term? Although the other area that says is the partnership with the Navajo Nation on developing clean energy project on Navajo. As long, how do we know that as long any such projects includes components of Navajo tribal ownership? How much percentage are we talking about as ownership? And then I believe when we say authorize a group of delegates, meaning the council council delegates, to lead discussion and or negotiate with officials from the city of Los Angeles. Are we really putting or giving certain authority to these delegates to negotiate with another sovereign state? I believe by policy that would probably have to go to this might change the intent of the legislation, because NABI cannot just give certain delegates to negotiate with another sovereign nation or sovereign state. I don't know if any other delegates will raise that issue at NABI to say that, well, we'll give you the authority to negotiate, because I've tried that several times, as you know, having 638 contracts, legislation sponsor, even the chairs taking the lead in negotiating specifically for 630 contract with the BIA and other DC level additional legislation sponsors. It didn't get anywhere. And I would even as an oversight authority, and I don't know if the oversight RDC member would be thinking this way. Why would would it be directly that the RDC be given the task to work with the city to see how we can work with them, rather than just any? I mean, I don't know. I mean, we are in the position of as a delegate, but there's no specific requirement for us to be delegates as far as work experience, and so on. But if none of us don't really have an extensive background regarding this issue, but you are part of the negotiating team, would we persuaded to could the council be persuaded to negotiate to be more advantage to the city than the Navajo Nation itself? I have a little bit of concern on that one. I would think that maybe directing the speaker and even the president's office or any of the Department of Justice be involved. But you only as elected official, that's it. So I have a problem with number 2 in a way. Authorize a group of delegates to lead discussion and or negotiates with the officials from the city of Los Angeles. Because although authorize, I think NABI cannot really authorize a group of delegates, designate delegates to host a formal visit to the city, to the Navajo Nation, with the purpose of identifying potential projects for the Navajo Nation and the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power to partner on. So this is the 3 area. Kodo Bayas Piki do Binya Kodo Sosnil Soziki Shisazido Bahnaidash Kido, because it is going to we're at RDC, and then it's going to Nabi. So it stops at Nabi. So I'm not really sure, especially if it's going to support the effort of the Navajo Nation right to use the 500 megawatts. You see, when the COVID-19 agita, the Nandiniki don't ajukuta yegan hin no ni koja, the Navajo generating station Kodo Sato, and then all the other areas Kodo. It seems like it's all is not being thoroughly being discussed. Akoko akwaki gishin that it is. Shisazido Hajo clarify Osha Google she that's a quack. Maybe not necessarily here, but maybe at Nabi to give you sufficient time to provide. And then also like to get the PowerPoint that was mentioned, Chair. So it is Shisazido Bahasit Chairman.
Thank you, Honorable Begay, for your questions, and we'll go back to Honorable Slater and also Ms. Kahn, since you're on the line. Would you go to page 3, line 26? It says it's city council delegates. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be council members. So, Honorable Slater.
Thank you, Chair. Chair Tosh, for the questions and the concerns. I think that in terms of agents of the nation making commitments, binding commitments, this is not something that is authorizing that. And what this is in that statement where we're talking about discussions and or negotiations is to provide the full-throated endorsement for the concept. And the concept is this continuing relationship and developing renewables projects on Navajo that will be mutually beneficial to LA, its customers, the nation, and our citizens. So with that in mind, we don't need to get, too caught up on what those commitments will be in the future. because we have our own internal processes for leases, for tax payments, for signing agreements. And of course, those all have the president's signature, and we have our own internal process. But what the council, and I'm talking about the LA City Council now, and the LA Department of Water and Power need is an expression from the nation, us saying that we want to pursue this. And the reason we're putting it into legislation is that the prior discussions, which have occurred through first nonprofits and activists and organizations, second, and these can also be in parallel, with Navajo Nation utilities and potential developers, and then third, between our elected leadership, which includes the president and the vice president, haven't necessarily yielded the full sort of expression from the nation that we're in support of this. And I say that because at this point, it's my understanding that the City Council and LADWP, based off their existing relationships or prior relationships with the nation, they know how our government works. And they know that the Navajo Nation Council is the governing body. The Navajo Committee is the one that identifies the positions of the nations and makes that formal statement. So out of deference to our internal process and in a way to fully round out the support of the nation, we're putting this into legislation. And again, it's not binding and saying that these people, these delegates, are the only individuals that will pursue negotiation. It's showing that they, as duly elected representatives of our people, can exercise that obligation in this forum, in this venue, with these people, and saying that we support their continued negotiations. Now, in terms of what that will look like, who those delegates will be, and what sort of support they'll have, I think that's the discussion, we need to have, and we can have and can continue at NABI. So, of course, we'll need DOJ. Of course, we'll need Office of Legislative Counsel. We know that the Speaker's office, under the direction of RDC, has brought on an energy advisor. I think those are all components that will come in and support this initiative. So I believe that the legislation is broad enough to allow those inputs for the resources that our representatives will need to make informed decisions. But in terms of defining what powers they have or who will be there, that comes back to the council. And maybe the legislation could be modified to say the speaker will appoint certain individuals, or if the committee wants to consider saying, okay, well, we'll have an RDC representative and we'll have a non-RDC representative and we'll have someone else. That doesn't necessarily need to be ironed out right now, but the preference of the committee in identifying who should be there at the table and helping to lead those discussions is critical. So, there's going to LA and talking with them. And then we also need to acknowledge that it's important to bring those people back out to the nation. And I think this speaks to your first point, Snash, that the terms, I was trying to research this right now. I think that they might actually have staggered terms on the council. And it looks like they renewed this. So I'm going to do a little more research to give you an accurate answer before, but I'm also going to hand it off to Ms. Horse-Herder in a minute to talk about maybe the LA City Council. But those individuals, well, let me just talk about the council for 1 minute, because the political environment, I think, is important. So some of the council, I think the LA City Council is it's 14 Democrats and 1 independent. And from among themselves, they select, I think, a president. So of the complexion of the council and the people there, there's support right now. In order for that to be durable and long-term, discussions need to continue so that when new people do come into office, they have something to reference. And when they're going to reference something, they need to have the nation's official position, right? Because if everything is based off of conversations and recollections with certain individuals and not on correspondence from the nation identifying the position and then some correspondence back from the council and LADWP acknowledging receipt of that position and their response on how they'll move forward with identifying people to have those discussions, that needs to be memorialized, right? Like written down and institutionalized into our processes. So,
Joey, are you junior body weight cap crazy member?
So that's why it's important to pass something legislatively that will affirm that position on the sovereign to sovereign basis. And then we can take it to the next step. I think I covered most of your points. Ms. Horserder, would you like to respond to anything? Chair, is it okay if my agent is able to respond?
Honorable Slater, let me go back to Honorable Begay for if he has a follow-up question. Honorable Begay.
Chairman, the Kodo Nazi Akoko anything, we always say the benefit, the benefit of the Navajo people specifically. Akoko, and to what extent also authorizing the negotiation only specifically be the terms of the ownership, but what the at Navajo level go Hogan level the Nisha. Well, how will it really chapter that I represent, or the eastern chapter, the western chapter, I don't know what percentage of our Navajo people are without electricity. The intent negotiation, what specific plan is it that we're really planning to put on the table for the nation to have an agreement that we are speaking as what we think as delegates, but more of what the Navajo people would say to us at the chapter level. That did ego codon basic she liniki quite did ego drop it no baby yet go a concealer equal that I see Lagun that yield yet got into a Ado Kodo Dikat OU transmission line. It's just crisscrossing the Navajo Nation, but yet not a few miles from there, a lot of our Navajo people don't have electricity. Juniki oh hayu hollo. The concept, the intent of it, Kwajin, be got in sea case, but Kwajin is an endemic look at us to show baby equity, ask what the quacking. So, Asian and no additional zinc. I mean, maybe other chapters are not in that position, but the 5 chapters that I represent, what are being test case, so what are
Rudy Shabal.
Akoko Kwajig like Dushmayas Adon in Jala, Quadits Lichin region. Ad Yegot Nendinigi, baby, Nahot, a Jutho, took a peabody, Hutza. In the Ayosato Ben he had asked at the baseball on Seniki or previous council or previous delegates. Did Abbas, that's a thought. You just a ton Deniki that don't care and then get on not as a don't hit it, no, the Ben Hitchayeta hit a Sadida. ako aja khas aniki jit anit o khayut nan diniki thon diniki be etten ande not loshi to glitch the arch and the has eki to arch la hit out yego koto sato papan sikis sato dit alan edit akiti be that aniki that would really benefit the local chapter dit to had the ni hiki khaisen sa o the shnisha zinge ko ben mashiko edi kat ya na hin te ni ko ta ai ta inli taga hotsan the winra level ajata beta inshikit o koto sato peso ya nani te hasha ko supplies then you ona ta hana to needs or something which is increase the operation maintenance at winter level, so none is really is given back directly to the chapters or the community members. Even the service is not given back directly. Unless it's sounded so up on whoever is going to be negotiating this particular with the city of Los Angeles. And the other thing I always ask is that does the city of Los Angeles really have an understanding of a reservation? I mean, they're more in the business world rather than more of like a local level, indigenous or tribal environment, social environment. Maybe that's the reason why you're asking to lead a delegation to invite the people onto the Navajo reservation. Akoko hajashi ada hatni to aita ondede yada hot ehtiki tan that na ad hadete isle to in winter has ade, but they never bring people out into the rural part of the reservation. Later you see in the hatiki that ako ede hot asha zido hanana seat on the chairman. So again, I'm not trying to cheat or pushing your cost ad dikodo dikodo bayasti to ebach shato to ebach or tishnida, just to make sure that you are able to ask and respond to our Navajo people, not directly to me, but directly to our Navajo people. Dit afti dit ekodon gibeshbans anen diniki edit a bit dot asiki bini ki then hin ha to ni yati ki ho Konda in the chapters that don't bane tahaki to ro alabit ko na koko ko de it ago ko kodagi yana here has rot out of zone his ana hot the nepori nine ahla to dit ab kin no sala to dit na o sala chudan hit niki san si se hot ego with chapter tada di khato chapter peshulta chigate higi hot ab in hit khada so it out ko pa na sit on the channel.
Thank you, Honorable Begay, for your questions. And everybody on the line, could you mute your phones? Let me go to Ms. Horseherder, and then I'll recognize Michelle Henry from the Office of the President. Ms. Horseherder, could you make it brief? Thank you.
Nana. Just briefly, I want to answer at least two questions that I think were most important. As far as LA City Council members, there are no term limits in the council members' terms. However, after carefully studying the council members on the LA City Council, and having met with quite a few of them for this project, we don't anticipate that any of them will be unsupportive of this partnership. The other thing that the council delegates should keep in mind is that the motion has already been passed, and the LADWP, whose oversight is the city council, has already been given its directive to do the feasibility study. So when Navajo is working working on this partnership, they will be working with LADWP staff. And staff, as you know, they don't have term limits. They're not elected. They're staff. They're people who are working for the utility company. So just to give you a little bit of a reassurance that you're not, I don't think you should think in terms of if a new term comes along, will there be no support? I think that's what Shiaz Delegate Begay is concerned about. So I think going forward, you will be working with people who have the full understanding that they want to keep this partnership and they want to see how it develops. They would like to see it develop. The other thing that I think the council should know is that the LADWP is well aware of the transmission that's coming into the city of LA. They know how much power is coming in, and they know how much of those transmission lines have no power right at this time because of coal plant closures. So it is in their best interest, and this leads to the next question I want to answer, and that is the infrastructure. I would like council to focus on the infrastructure that's there. When NGF shut down, various pieces of infrastructure is left behind by the closed power plant. One of those is the transmission lines. Those transmission lines are very valuable, as you may know. It's not something that anyone would want to just tear down as part of decommissioning. As a result of that, those transmission lines are now available. So it is in LADWP's best interest to find a way to put energy back on those lines. And the reason we're talking about renewables is because if we're selling energy to the city of LA, we would like to help them meet their renewable energy goals. They have a very aggressive renewable energy goal. It's higher than the state of Arizona. They would want to be putting renewable energy on those lines. Renewable energy is cheaper now than any fossil fuel energy that's out there. The other thing I want the Navajo Council to keep in mind is that we don't know what this partnership will look like. We want the Navajo Nation Council to approve this legislation so that we can move forward and find out what this partnership will look like. We want to work it out in a way where, of course, there's benefits to the nation, where at least there's some kind of investment in the project itself so that Navajo is a part owner and can expect a return far greater than as in the relationship with the NGS, the owners of NGS, where we just supplied the land and the raw resources. So this is an opportunity to explore a greater investment in a project that will give back greater returns to the nation. At the same time, continue to provide benefits to one of the previous partners of the NGS plant. So I hope that helps answer some questions. We don't try not to answer every single question that Shiaz Delegate Begay had. I think the way we should frame it is, if this project is successful and there are revenues coming back to the nation, you can answer those problems, those issues that you raised with those revenues coming back to the nation. I think that would be a better way to look at it. Nana, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Horsharder. Honorable Slater.
Thank you, Chair. To just build off that last point very briefly, I completely appreciate the comment concerning what are the benefits at the community level or the Hogan level versus in Window Rock. And I think everyone who has been engaged with this thus far, everyone on the council is committed to ensuring that there's transparency in this process and that the opaque mistakes of the past, the lack of transparency, aren't repeated, because daylight, is a cleanser, and it helps provide the best deals and terms for our people and their engagement, most importantly, to help define those terms and deals. That said, I think all of us are familiar with the issues between community benefit and the Navajo Nation, the concerns related to how to compensate the nation, our own internal processes for moving things forward from a regulatory perspective, et cetera. But setting those aside, this does not define any part of how a project will go forward, but encourages some of the principles of that community benefit. Now, looking at the nation stake, just to keep, to provide an example. So you can have a developer, you have an operator, the nation in the development process, or maybe even in the operational side, could take an ownership stake. I'd like to see the nation take an ownership stake. I'd like to see the nation assign some of its stake for the chapter or chapters that would be affected by any such project, so that they feel ownership over it. And it's RDC's opportunity to help define what those processes will be going forward. So it'll be a very collaborative relationship, I think, within the council and the executive branch for helping to define that relationship with LA and internally about how revenues will flow. But if we're able to have Navajo Nation ownership and maybe assigning some of the community, some of that ownership, I could imagine a situation where that incentivizes a chapter or a group of chapters to get local governance certified so that they could handle these fundings. And then in order for them to do that, they would probably need a higher level of staffing, right? They're going to need accountants, they're going to need other folks. And if they have the revenue to help pay for the capacity to manage the money, and then you bring in the resources to help improve the community, then you have a really good combination of ownership, oversight, and community benefit. So, maybe down the line, that's how things will look. We don't know yet now, but it's something for you to consider as RDC proceeds through all of its legislations that it will consider. So thank you, Chair. Thank you, Flash.
Thank you, Honorable Slater. Ms. Henry? Ms. Henry?
Good afternoon, Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. For everyone else, my name is Michelle Henry. I work for the Division of Natural Resources, the Administration Office, and as the Ms. Horsford mentioned, there was a meeting scheduled with LADWP in December. I was a part of those discussions with the president and a handful of highest cost work group members. We did meet with LADWP, and we were present during the city council session. LADWP, we spoke with them about the interest in developing initiating a partnership. They are interested. They do take their direction from the city council, and we did have further discussions. There was a trip planned for them to come to visit on site, to visit the Navajo Nation, to come to Window Rock and have have further discussions. However, during that time, the holidays were happening, and now the feasibility study was not completed. And now that COVID is basically crippled travel and some of the business activities that didn't take place. We were waiting for the city council to pass, for the feasibility study to be completed. There is commitment from the city council on approving the feasibility study, and once that was complete, it was to be evaluated, and that's where the additional discussions on purchasing power from possible generation from Navajo. Now, in our discussions with LA, there was also mentioned that they are inundated with renewable energy. And in fact, there are times when they have to pay other utilities to take the power because there was too much power. So, those are some of the things that they would have to weigh on how much additional renewable energy that they're looking to purchase to meet their renewable energy standards. There was also, as far as revenue generating on renewable energy, if we're looking at just a project on Navajo, we're looking obviously at lease and tax payments. But there also can be negotiations or talks on community benefits. And this would be similar to what we're working on right now with Vistai Solar and the request for proposals that Salt River Project has issued. And those are all part of what would be in the terms and conditions. Now, none of that has taken place as far as what the community would receive or the nation would receive, mainly because the land withdrawal process hasn't been complete, and there are other studies that would need to be conducted. So those are the obvious revenue generators for solar projects on Navajo. In terms of transmissions, if we have LA utilize their transmission lines, they do have transmission capacity on the lines going west from Navajo Generating Station, as we do. As a result of the assignment from Bureau of Reclamation, we have 200 megawatts. Now, if LA decides to use their own transmission, then there is no revenue generated from the use of the transmission. They retain that, they have access to that, and they don't need anyone's permission or any other utilities' permission to utilize those lines. Now, if we have a long-term commitment to utilize Navajo's 200 megawatts, then there would be some revenue generating from there. But that won't occur until 2023 or 2024, somewhere around there. It would really depend on when the project would start, and it generally takes about 3 years to complete a solar project and then have it go online. So I'd say 2023, 2024 is what we would look at as far as timelines are concerned. And that's where the money would come in for the use of the transmission. But with the other utilities having capacity and availability of the transmission lines, they could easily utilize their transmission lines and not have to worry about paying any wheeling rates or any kind of other rates on the transmission. That's pretty much all that I have, but there is continued discussions. President did make a commitment before the city council. President did commit to further discussions with LA during our sessions or during our meetings. So City Councilman Mitch O'Farrell is very excited about with this partnership. And like I said, President and the Highlands Cough members, few of the Highlands Cough members were present at that meeting. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Henry. Honorable members, any questions?
Chair, this is Daniel.
Let's go ahead. Honorable Daniel.
Yes, Chair. Thank you. RDC members, his staff, Legislative Council, Delegate Slater, Honorable Council Delegate Slater. Thank you for putting this legislation before RDC today. Ms. Horser, the agent, Hajim so Baba Yames Pico. This legislation that's before us today. Because of this pandemic, what we're going through, the great teleconference they ban a clinical. I don't know the great the never spell going not for the and what the Eastern before the pandemic is out and we used to have the great public hearings done date on she's later but I don't need that because of this COVID-19 even now. So I don't know. I ask for so right now we're just more focused on the COVID-19. This pandemic as they yet the need eat and what later I see the picture in the house. He don't hit the net. Hit the whole making the grade and I see a conduct take on this COVID-19. This not I see them. I see a cut and level AD. I see I see that we are it seems that these are not but this legislation I know it's going to go before now, but again I show you on the dog I just say delegate key allocation I you have the question has I night dog kid now I don't night so I think check on a night kid I don't know the great I don't know RDC member RDC committee where the oversight to a lot of these where the oversight ADG I don't know OPVP so as the Mexico higher cost group so I that as that yeah that's that in Mexico so I don't know the great transparency no there's no transparency especially with this pandemic hit the negi I see like thousands that would be there great now the nation based on so other could not pay them from hit the I said I could ben nada so like it even ADG later now the nation hit that metal it night the kid I said Ecuador of the South Ecuador and that's so bad last of shame that's what other the kids are so it is the negi or your top spells and that on the way that that it is chain many that delegate okay that it the spells and that so I raised the codon had it and level so that so I don't know the codon great I understand what this legislation is talking about the intent as a spell the nickel because you're the great at the hot in the great NGS a so that is called one that is called jingle I don't know understand NGS that is called special because now Mr. Christian is the Adonana Kodo, Jodi Kodam, yeah, had indicator a Kodon had the guy 500 megawatts, Jay, how long for a Kodo a Jokodo, the guy now by Horke, Cargo, Arole, renewable energy. So, the big head out of niche, what I could buy a tea Kodo. So, 8 year Kodo each like target Akodo, the enough the Kodo without the people's, without our constituents' input. Kodo. I was looking at the legislation on the public comment to that. So, Chair, thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Daniels. So.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Resources Development Committee. I'm glad that this legislation is on the agenda, and I'm glad that Michelle's working on it. And this, with Michelle's little information that she provided, it provides me that this is the nation's negotiation, and we have access to these transmission lines, and it's something that is some worth as a value to the nation. Clean energy had no. Kadaya oyo never na oyo but na kida and then but no not a choice you need it NGS I did we could vote at yata kadaya oyo ga not this is a clean initiative, clean energy initiative. I believe it's worth trying this area, in this field, because bottom line is we have to look at how we're going to possibly look at replenishing some of these reserves that come into to play related to the dollars coming into the nation. I do support the concept of getting individuals to the table and start negotiating and have a conversation. The longer we wait, the longer we wait, but bottom line is, how could we start looking at a way to bring revenues into the nation, other sort of revenues? Number two is if an agreement is made and a plant is built somewhere within Western and connected to the transmission line. I believe what really needs to be in play is the Western chapters affected. This is a time that we could put a community incentive. That way, a certain percentage of the whatever's were made off of the transmission lines and so forth, the transport of energy to the city of Los Angeles could be invested into those local communities that are directly affected by those KV lines. Remember, need KV lines. People were told, permit holders were told, oh, you're going to get power. No, as a field agent for IHS years ago, that was some of the testimony that or people that has toye if you got so na has toye alcohol ate the but there is really not much of a benefit. Yeah, SRP, help the chapter here and there, but only to a minimal. Or I don't know. Pahin na nite in the kino na nite. I check in there. This is the time that we can negotiate that from the local level on this agreement. And but it's something that we need to look at. We can vet it through. I don't know. We could get individuals, contract out and get individuals to get that information out to us. And I guess best thing to do is, I guess, if you don't realize what they're talking about, just vote against it. And it's definitely not in the interest of the list, but to be optimistic, to see what type of economic values we can pick up from this proposal would be very, very, very instrumental. The Washington I do this has my attention. I want to get a little more information on it. And but again, almost later, times I don't support some of these initiatives, but this one has my attention. I want to possibly sit down with you to get more information. I'm halfway there right now, and it's a possible proposal. And I don't think you're very much Resources and Development Committee Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorables. Honorable
Chair,
Honorable Vice Chair Walker, go ahead.
Yes, Chairman Nez, members of the RDC, the legislative staff, and then sponsor Delegate Slater for bringing about the legislation and the discussion that we're having. I appreciate that. Yourself and your agent, the other delegates that are on this call also. Western Agency though. Including my good Che, Herman Daniels, Nate Brown, from the Western Navajo perspective. I guess we need to provide information, opinions, and perspectives, and certainly questions
bring about a good discussion, to bring about a good decision for the nation or for our region in particular. My comments would be more or less for my colleagues on the Resource and Development Committee. If you go back a few months ago, we were planning to have a Navajo Nation Energy Summit. We were working to create the agenda and then to bring about presenters, speakers, to focus in on the future of energy development on the Navajo Nation, as well as take inventory on our energy resources that we have today. And then, of course, to look back at the history of energy development on Navajo Nation. What was once, thriving industries, although where it is at today, although the future. Joda Pani Condition Asian when ya na dikit the Quigoshin would look at the Koho Pan City. Although the Speaker's office also went and hired an energy consultant to work with the Resource and Development Committee as well as the 24th Navajo Nation Council in this area. So I would like to suggest or recommend that we get some advice from that consultant. So bring that person up to speed and have that person give us some guidance from a legislative standpoint on the question that's before us here. Even yet they see kind of and yet a Nikado what you have no Asati Bani Kado Lichedo need a Nikado was Naikito Quigoshin Bakonix and the Fiji even the Yako. So 808 hinge Kedolition and Resource and Development Committee members to establish that, to begin working with our energy consultant. Chair, have a meeting to start, our relationship with the energy consultant, and although that's one thing, one area. Although energy policy, Navajo Nation energy policy, 2013. It does response under President Edo signed the best on it. Edo the need in Sudan no response under what Edo a quite not jisho. Abayat Yati does link. Edo Abba Natika. So it oh that actually Nahot Nakni Econ. Ni tahodloni given na yego nan shide nigi ako end up with not the energy policy not the need so by yanani chiko if we can now did need a quadat ego it has no a quite chunk it does on the in the as we listen to the legislation, consider this legislation today, where we're going about it in a way where the discussion, the planning for revision, more amendments to the or updating the energy policy still awaits. That's the scenario we're currently in. So, although looking at the legislation, mentioned in there is one of my communities, one of the communities that I represent, which is Cameron chapter. Energy development, renewable energy development. That's an example of some interest and effort being made to bring about developing renewable energy. That's not a local project. That's not initiated or being developed by local chapter. It's groups certainly that are interested and that have the ability to bring about those ideas and make initiatives that way. 5,000 acres. Late last year, earlier this year, Land Department withdrew that the application. Yeah, cancel it. So today there's no land that was mentioned in the legislation. There's no land that's being considered for development. There may be talks and there may be another go round of applying for land withdrawal, but right now and the 500 megawatt transmission line, running from the old NGS plant and then along the Western Navajo Agency communities, Cheat, Copper Mine, Waterway Gap, Cameron, out on that, the transmission line exits off the Navajo Nation. So
Hello, Thomas.
Yeah, go. You said that but chicken delegate so hard and yeah, go. Need equal yet. Had never Banahati. Yeah, go. I had and Jean Bantakis. I don't hit the ABC Kiko. So whatever she does, I had it that is all Johnson. I let all what on she know her usage in Kaya has the daughter not I had ego gender. I thought Johanna souls. I don't eat side or Hannah or the Nekaya Yoksida. What are now only been we team for sheep and not that station end at Aban Sikis Chuko Yat Echo. It is about this and the city by Yatsi, it are Abba Yatsiko, Yat, the rain of Yat, the other Yahanana, so the shin, she did another ditzy, other Bahnatic, not so now, Kate, Nana, so and then it's so to the best hot. But it art and auto to touching at the no aid at the need of the that's exactly what we want to see. That has many meanings to the Navajos that we are. Is she no I don't I don't have due diligence. So no, the creature she I had never in today's case, but Resource Development Committee. Although lastly, just wanted to also mention something that was mentioned earlier by my brother T. Ellen or my nephew Otto. So the energy. The need for energy, the need for electricity right now is at an all-time high. We know, especially in the midst of a pandemic environment. Even now, we're going to dedicate, as much resources as we can to have utility infrastructure developed. But the energy that could be developed, say with a project that was that's probably being contemplated for Western communities that would use the 500 megawatt transmission line. If there's a project, then of course that energy development would be transmitted through that transmission power line to cities way far away from our homeland, and it's not intended for local energy consumption. Adam ship up and not what the Ninigi in na it what yeah Quanizon Chinan you that what after his the whole distinct NGS was not that Joe what off by Yelchi should Quadin it all in the hard shinton in that said either you the snow no. Ako kadit at ne kwadan as link in the ako even not hajo hat neniki shito abe the cases chinan ako kaya showing idea chairman nezo recommendation each slide to consult with our energy person that was hired by Speaker's office to provide more guidance and advice to the legislators, though to the Resource Development Committee, that's the oversight in this matter. Though to Delegate Slater, appreciate your interest in this area and bringing about the certainly a dialogue that's important and that's critical. I appreciate your effort and your time in doing this. We will continue to communicate with you, and you're certainly welcome to call on us again, and bring your thoughts and ideas, questions, as well as any other member of the 24th Navajo Nation Council, as well as to the office of the president, or the Hayofkat Work Group, the Division of Natural Resources, the DOJ. We're primarily the was the oversight. So we want to have these communications, these discussions, and what we discourage is to have RDC, consider legislation, and after so much work has been done and we're kind of catching up on what was being done. But again, it's a two-way street, working relationships. And so the RDC, we should reach out all entities and divisions and groups out there.
Thank you. Chair. Gay, could you set a meeting also with our energy consultant, Ms. Pilar Thomas, who is on the line with us this afternoon with us, who is our consultant in energy. Shananta, any other questions from RDC? Dylan? Honorable Stewart? No. I'm going to hand the gavel over to...
Where do you mute yourself on this one? On this one.
Sure.
Oh, there it is.
Could you mute your phones, please? Please mute your phones. Thank you. Honorable Vice Chair Walker, I'm going to hand the gavel over to you to ask a question. Ahmed as well. Could you recognize her?
Okay, Chairman, thank you for the virtual gavel. Chairman, you have the floor.
Thank you, honorable members of Resources and Development Committee of the 24th Council, as well as everyone that's on the line with us, and the sponsor, Will Slater, and your agent, Ms. Horst. Awesome. We discussed today, prior to the pandemic, we wanted to have a Navajo Nation Energy Summit. From that, had received numerous information to how and which direction we would amend the Navajo Nation's energy policy. Now, moving forward, the pandemic happened, and now we're still trying to make decisions and through this teleconference. Now, just having read through the legislation in areas that I do have some concerns with is, first of all, the sources that the committee court entitled to Ms. Khan, this would be a question for you, is the oversight over energy. IOS cost group is not the oversight. RDC is oversight over energy. Everybody else is according to law. Now, by working together, we all understand that we can make certain things happen. We're moving into an era of energy, and having NGS shut down now with Kayenta Mine, where we're going to explore as leaders to really look and see what recommendations we will have as leaders for our nation to generate revenue. What do we need to do? It's always been a statement that I pondered and uttered a few times is we still have a Corners power plant and Navajo mine over here in my backyard here. And it supports a lot of Navajo employees. I'm glad for that. A lot of people still think they still have a job at the power plant mine. And I know we don't really know the outcome, the future of coal industry, but having our people still have jobs is what's important. I see that. So my concern would be that C needs to be at the forefront. With this, on page 3, page 4, Diki, Anela, line 1. Nation Council Negotiating Committee hereby authorizes a group of Nation Council delegates to lead discussions and or negotiations with officials from Los Angeles. Fall, perhaps earlier this year, it was drafted for me, and it was for Molina, and it was in the health field, and I was asked to sponsor it, and I was more than willing to sponsor it. But then I got a phone call from Chairman asking if he would be the sponsor. So I agreed, since he's the chair of Health, Education, and Human Services Committee. That I told him, since Molina Healthcare is related to healthcare, go ahead, co-sponsor to you. Health, you go ahead and sponsor this legislation, Bedini. We agreed, and he was glad to do that and passed. Now, I really would like to see that council be able to each other, colleagues, and say, okay, this is RDC's area energy. Let's have them take a look at this. Let's have with them first. And we'll move forward. We can talk about energy of work session, this subject through conferencing. And I believe we will still have and extract a lot of recommendations and comments to and put together what we need to do as far as being the oversight and looking at our energy policy. It is up to us as RDC, as I read the law and understand that we are the oversight. And it is quite I used to this. I don't get at this. I shouldn't get in there. Latin, I thought I actually between I had either one pigiso, Landa eat leho, those fist either. I was reading the Navajo Times recently, and there's going to be coming forth, and I thought to myself, this is not right. The people should vote on this. There should be a referendum. That's what I thought. My first thought was that with this energy, it is clear RDC is the oversight. And therefore, I truly believe that when a delegation of delegates is sent, perhaps it should be from RDC to go and negotiate with the officials from the city of Los Angeles. But unfortunately, it's going to go to Nabikia Committee and have them decide for us as oversight that anybody could go and do this. I'm not going to go over law and orders oversight authority and do something against their wishes. I would go to the vice chair, the chair, and perhaps go before the committee and make a recommendation to them. Maybe they can do it. Or Health, Education, and Human Services Committee, or Budget and Finance, whatever topic they are, or programs that they are the oversight over. Or in this case, it's energy. It is closed, NGS, but how do we go forward now? We look to other people to help us in many areas, but I'm glad that we do have an energy consultant hired by a speaker's office that we can consult with. And Ms. Thomas, if you would, research this legislation for us before the committee as well. And perhaps Title II, as to where it states that RDC is the oversight over all energy matters. Honorable Vice Chair, thank you and appreciate this time.
Okay, thank you, Chair Nez. Virtual gavel.
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chair Walker. Any other comments, questions from RDC?
I have a comment.
Okay, go ahead, Honorable Stewart.
So, Carl Slater and the associate, and they get off. In thinking and listening to this legislation that's before us today is there's no transparency. This isn't the first time that this has happened. This kind of is, to me, is like coming in through the back door. It should have come to us before to support it, to be at the front of it. no. Was a been kid now was that Miss Horse Herder. How should out on the I don't on the hitch of that dot on the outlet. It's just for the Ida. A cut out on circuit for our nation. It's for the good of the community and the nation. And if we vote red on it, yeah, that's just because we don't have a full understanding of it. So, yeah, we're not saying that we don't want to have the nation improve. It's just because we don't have that full understanding of where this is coming from, where it's going. The higher cost committee, if they knew about this, they should have already come to us and told us RDC, this is Faith Hudson, you put out president, then you put out the Niebes State, Sean Jungle is getting the national song. Banter cake, so they put out a banter cake, and I can't do so that you do some other cat. Put out a baby, a bit has neat all this, Nana. I couldn't force now.
Thank you, Honorable Stewart. Appreciate your comment there. Any other words or questions? And I'm Ty from RDC before I go back to Honorable Slater. Ms. Siako.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair, members of the Resources and Development Committee. Just a really quick note, this is Melinda from the Speaker's Office. I did send the legislation 138-20 to the energy consultant, Pilar Thomas, who you mentioned is on the line, so that she can take a look at it and start coordinating. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Melinda. Honorable Begay.
Chair, I'm looking through the City of Los Angeles website, the City Clerk Connect website. I've sent it to all the RDC member. It does have several motions from December 2019 up to June 10th, 2020, 2468 items, documents that were transpired at the Los Angeles City Clerk or the City Council, coming from the LADWP. If you read through the statement, the file number 19-1585, it gears towards more for the city of Los Angeles. Yes, they're willing to partner with the Navajo Nation, but what outstands in the paragraph here is that generated solar/clean energy would be delivered through the existing DWP power transmission infrastructure from the Navajo Nation to the city. Yes, we may want to enter into this particular process of solar development on the Navajo Nation, but it seems that the city of Los Angeles is only looking at receiving additional or more power transmission, electricity to the city. So it comes back to the question that I posed earlier. How much of an area are we talking about specifically on the Navajo Nation? I mean, the city may just don't care as long as you cover the whole Navajo Nation, as long as we receive the power and don't need a shot. I mean, how much of a space that will the city of Los Angeles would be benefiting? How much power are we talking about? I'm sure that is part of the discussion that that's being developed here. I guess I'll say it. I mean, will be used again. The Navajo Nation, that we are being forced to develop a solar project on the Navajo Nation. We just turn it on. Okay, Los Angeles, have at it. Build more electricity throughout your city, or improve your energy off the reservation. That's basically what we're going towards. But it's easy for us to accommodate off-reservation individuals than on Navajo individuals. On electricity, you got to have home site lease, you got to have consent forms, you got to have this and that. But yet, it's okay for us to just sponsor legislation, have a group of delegates to go down and negotiate and say, have at it, create this, and then we'll outsource so much power to the city of Los Angeles. Or to could it be more beneficial for us to say, let us, Navajo Nation, let's develop an efficient solar-powered projects on the Navajo Nation. Let us help our Navajo people before we even start thinking of other people. Legislation social electricity water line at each of the chapter. It may cost more, but at least we're helping our Navajo people. Agreement. I will be hesitating for me, but I need to go back to my community and my elected officials to say that, so hey, on your behalf, I'll be casting a yes or a no vote. We have our enterprises that is able and willing to develop all of these. Now, if we're being asked to develop so much power on the Navajo Nation, where's the locations going to be? Old Bishop Chi that they have an issue and concern, especially those people that have livestock. So I've been asking how much land does the Navajo Nation needs to give up to develop these solar panels across the Navajo Nation in order to benefit ourselves rather than the people that lives off the reservation. I mean, for so long, the Navajo people have been utilized, and especially coal. Not even several miles from those empty sites that our Navajo people continue to have no water and no power line. So if every Navajo people, if every Navajo family has electricity, water line, and everything else that's essential to have their daily lives, then yes, we can say, okay, we have abundant of our resource that we could be able to sell to others, neighboring states or communities. As go hasha ako hado ni do landa shepo net zato le onsense. So ben nashiko zinke. Ikodo the 110 chapters ki aje sepan sike so jondo listen so additional. Mr. Chair, so ego was zero bahanasi or lito apahanas or lito apayask or lit. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Begay. Honorable Slater, could you respond, sir?
Yeah, Chair, appreciate that. Thank you, committee members, for your comments and questions. And there's a lot to cover. I'm going to try and be concise, but get to everything that was mentioned. So I think we need to think about what our goals are as a nation and start from there, right? We want a prosperous future for our people. We want them to be able to enjoy what really should be rights in the 21st century, to create that prosperity. You know, that's a roof over your head, that's power to your home, and that's running water for your health and safety. So in order to do that, we need resource, right? It comes down to money. And the reason that we don't have all of our homes hooked up right now is because we as a nation don't have all the money to do that. We've never had all the money to do that. And the projects that have been developed in the past and were funded by the federal government to help rural America really left out the Navajo Nation. So when we talk about how can we take care of our own, or why would we take care of someone else before taking care of our own, we need to identify that our goal, first of all, is to take care of our own by some sort of contractual relationship that provides benefits back to us and doesn't disadvantage either the local community level or the broader Navajo Nation. Now, when those agreements are composed, whether it's for coal, whether it's for solar, whether it's for nat gas, mineral agreements require Navajo Nation Council approval. In addition to that, you know, the energy policy will require Navajo Nation Council approval. So if we take a step back and say, okay, RDC has oversight over these issues, over energy issues, in general, oversight responsibility goes into the execution of the service, the delivery of the service, what government programs are implicated, and what regulatory authority is then given to the committee. So if we just take a step back, recognize that this isn't an attempt to usurp RDC authority. It's actually bringing in a proposal that's been presented to RDC multiple times. I think most recently back in October. I remember the presentation on this concept back at NDOT when we were discussing the closure of NGS and the potential acquisition by NTEC. That's when I worked in the speaker's office. So the concept has been presented to the committee, and I think that is some of the issues that we're coming up against, in that in order for the initiative to move forward, we need some sort of legislative support for the concept. It's not making any commitments. It's just saying that in order to continue these discussions, we really need to have a full faith partner on the other end, being the Navajo Nation, that we are not just going to send out some people who really have no authority to speak, have no authority to introduce legislation that may be relevant in the future. Rather, let's express our support through the resolution so that we can continue those discussions. And I agree, it needs to have RDC inclusion in whatever that delegation is. And I'm not as skeptical, I think, as some others are, that the Nabi committee will exclude RDC or not include them in that delegation. You know, you have the subject matter expertise. You're consistently considering these issues, and we need that knowledge on that delegation so that when the issues are presented back to the council or the committee, they're not new and we're not starting from scratch. we as a nation need to level up and be able to chew gum and walk at the same time. And we cannot make the same excuses we've made in the past. We've had this mindset that there's going to be a golden goose ahead for us. One of these projects is going to provide enough revenue to replace our lost revenue from the historical projects. And what it's really going to take, and I really appreciate Delegate So bringing this up, Otto So, talking about diversifying the revenue streams to the Navajo Nation. It's not going to be one big killer project that provides a ton of employment, a ton of construction jobs, a ton of consistent revenue. Instead, the landscape is such that we need to have a lot of balls in the air. We need our committees, our council, our executive branch to really have the facilities and the faculties to understand these concepts and then put them together. So my hope is that this process will be instructive for the development of the energy policy. And I know that there's a comment, maybe we're putting the cart before the horse. This policy does not contradict the existing energy policy. The existing energy policy talks about renewable resources and supporting them. It doesn't push them or relegate them off to the side or say that we need to contemplate or imagine a whole new system for it. No, it just says that it is a part of our mix. We have a sort of all of the above approach right now. And this doesn't conflict with that. So it aligns with the existing one. It can be instructive for producing the new one. And it will integrate, in my mind, and I'm going to stand up there and say RDC needs to be on there, whether it's one member, whether it's the chair and the vice chair. I mean, I think it's valuable to have representation from the committee that is representative of both New Mexico and Arizona. And moving on to the Arizona side and some of the comments on like, well, maybe where would this be situated? I know that Delegate Thomas Wakish, he mentioned that, Cameron, and I think maybe coal mine has also withdrawn some land for the purposes of developing renewables projects. Now, the reason that that is included in the legislation and that the utility NTUA is mentioned is to show that there's economic incentives at both the large organizational side, the NTUA, the enterprises. This is what they're looking at. This is what they're recognizing they need to pursue, especially with access to the California market. That's where those good, sweet prices are. We need to have access to that. So if we have a partner that is willing to engage in California, I think it's inexcusable for us to delay that conversation because we're going to get lapped. We're going to get leaped at a certain point. Our own internal divisions and processes and inability to move things forward. This started 2 years ago, and we're barely just getting to legislation now. It was presented back in October, and we're just getting to legislation now. So we need to be nimble, not compromise our integrity, but at the grassroots where the communities are recognizing, hey, look, we can build our capacity and we're going to make these demands on the mother government for revenues to flow to us so that we can build our local capacity, deliver these programs and services away from Window Rock. I think all of us are united in believing that concept. Not that Window Rock is necessarily bad, but that to reach the people, you need to be among them. So, that's one concept. And then it doesn't make a commitment to any sort of siting or location. Even though those places are mentioned, even though NTUA is mentioned, there is no commitment to any particular geographic area. Rather, that's just demonstrative of things that are happening independent of committee action or, LADWP or other utilities. So the commitment, I think, is there on the LA side to explore this option. And when Shekhnah brought up the words from the motion, that quote, all it really does is say that there are existing transmission lines between the nation and LA that can be used for this. When we talk about how a deal may be structured,
Honorable Slater.
And yes.
Slater.
Yes, sir.
Could you wrap it up, please? We have 1 hour before our special session. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely, Chair. So I just think that in closing, this doesn't define a geographic area. It doesn't make a commitment to a certain project, but it does define the nation's support for this concept And with the concept, we will fill in the details. It's critical we have RDC there. It's critical that we have broader inclusion considering how the projects will need final council approval. And to that end, I ask for your support. So colleagues, if you have any questions, please go ahead and call and text me after this vote, and we can set up more time to speak. And if the committee is interested in receiving further reports, we can help facilitate that as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Shananta, honorable members of RDC, any other questions, comments? None. Sheila, we'll go ahead and vote on legislation 0138-20. There's a motion by Honorable Freeland, second by Honorable Daniels. Honorable Freeland, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Stewart?
Red.
Honorable Begay?
I'll vote red for now. Need additional information that I requested for. Thank you.
Honorable Walker? Honorable Walker?
I was trying to unmute myself here.
Okay, go ahead, Honorable Walker.
Yes, Chair. I'll vote red for now, but I'm open to further discussion and dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Daniels?
Red.
Okay, thank you. A vote of 1 in favor and 4 opposed, and chair not voting. Motion fails, but it will still be referred to Navigiachi. So, Honorable Slater, would you send all the information, documents, PowerPoints to the full council? Thank you. We'll move back to legislation 0059-20. Honorable Smith, are you on the line, sir?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Honorable, thank you, Honorable Smith. Ms. Begay, could you read legislation 0059-20 into the record, please?
Oops, I was trying to unmute myself too. Mr. Chair, members of the committee, you have legislative summary sheet for tracking number 0059-20. The date on it is March 10, 2020. Title of the resolution is an action relating to resource development, approving and certifying the Greasewood Springs Chapter Community-Based Land Use Plan. Tracking number 0059-20. RDC has final authority. Prime sponsor is Delegate Raymond Smith Jr. An action relating to Resource Development Committee approving and certifying the Greasewood Springs Community-Based Land Use Plan being enacted. Section 1. Findings A, the Resource Development Committee is a standing committee of the Navajo Nation Council that has authority to grant final approval for and certify chapter community land use plan C2 NNC section 501B2B and 26 NNC section 2004D2. B, the Greasewood Springs chapter per resolution GSC 01-20-0990 entitled Resolution to accept public hearing for the community land use plan, the final version and the presentation of the survey results. Request is for the Resource Development Committee to approve the Greasewood Springs Chapter Community-Based Land Use Plan Exhibit A. C, the Resource Development Committee of the Navajo Nation Council finds it in the best interest of the Navajo Nation to approve and certify the Greasewood Springs Community-Based Land Use Plan. Section 2, certification. A, the Resource Development Committee of the Navajo Nation Council hereby certifies the Greasewood Springs Community-Based Land Use Plan and attached thereto is Exhibit A. B, the certification of this community-based land use plan shall not delineate adjacent chapter boundaries. Any chapter disputes rest solely with the courts of the Navajo Nation. The exhibits that are referenced in the content of the legislation are all attached in the packet, and I believe there are 68 pages of the packet. I sent that to you this morning, and you should have that information. And you will note that the packet was posted on the council website on March 18, 2020. 5-day comment period ended on March 23rd, 2020. There was no comments received, Mr. Chair and members of the committee.
Thank you, Ms. Gay. Honorable members of RDC, would like to have a motion and a second.
Motion. This is Daniel.
Honorable
Second,
Daniel.
Stewart.
Honorable Stewart, second. We'll go to Honorable Smith.
Hopefully.
Vice Chair Smith.
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, last night, lunch doesn't die. I don't vice chair though, should tonight, those should che, those should nella, those should not. So, get up, then again, classy, that's no sign. Now, side again.
Vice Chair Smith. We can't hear you.
The legislation that for you, we have my agent, Ronald Gishi, and he's the community land use plan. Reason why I'm going to give it to him is because the non-job bus is not very clear out here.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Gishi, you have the floor, sir. Mr. Gishi?
Oh,
you have the floor.
Oh,
Mr. Gishi,
yeah.
You have the floor, sir.
Hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, the chair and the RDC committee. I'm Ron Gishi, the president of the Club C committee. So this manual that is before you, you probably kind of glance it through or review it for the
Mr.
Gishi. Back in late 90s at the year 2000,
Mr. Gishi.
Yes.
We're going in and out, so stand in one place.
Right. Oh.
Go ahead, Mr. Gishi.
Okay. Since just been on the chapter, the issue for about more than 10 years, finally put this together, this manual. It didn't hear now. Navigation. Went through the process, the proper process. And yes, I think they don't Flagstaff and Gallup, and these are leaders and the community.
the bond secret in December, and one was back in November. We went through that, so that in January, that 60 days comment. So that we review as a committee, and we developed this manual. They put it in the format the way we want it. So so now it's up to date. So it's ready to present it to the RDC committee. So then the sponsor, which is Raymond Smith, with the assistant Art Hardy. So for this meeting to get it on the agenda today. And pretty much all the information, the people, their input is all in this manual. The main thing they wanted to preserve the land. Element. The serve from all the way to the Flagstaff and the Holbrook or Winslow. So development for the so we got pretty much joy and the plan that came down is there. So other the community, other at the end, and once this certified, we still have some recommendation from community that which needs to be added. So within 5 years, it has to be updated. So we do have some on the list. Now this is it. Yes, kidney credo. This is ini. Question Adoshi head or Lesnika or Jeton, Habeland, so Shield as the sheet and that. Cheers.
Thank you, Mr. Gishi.
Yeah.
Everybody that's on the line, please put your phones on mute. Phones made There's a lot of background noise. Any questions? Just that there's an amendment sent to us by our legislative council on page 1, the heading where it says relating to Resources Development Committee, approving and certifying the Greasewood Springs Chapter's Community Land Use Plan. There's an underlined wording which needs to be added, which has reevaluated and readjusted Greasewood Springs Chapter's previous community-based land use plan. Number 2, page 1, line 17. Amend the language as follows. Section 1, findings is overstricken and a new word underlined, authority. Number 3, page 1, line 22, amend the language as follows. Section 2, findings, strike out the letter B and insert A. The Greasewood Springs Chapter per Resolution GSCO 1-20-0990 entitled, and then re-letter remaining paragraphs. Number 4, page 1, lines 23 and 24, remove the underlining of the language. Resolution to accept public hearing for the community land use plan, comma, the finalized version, comma, and the presentation of the survey results. Number 5, page 2, line 2, amend the language as follows. Section 2, number 2 needs to be overstricken and add the word 3. the number 3, and then certification of the Greasewood Springs chapters reevaluated and readjusted community-based land plan will be in there. Number 6, page 2, line 4, amend the language as follows. A, the Resources and Development Committee of the Navajo Nation Council hereby certifies the reevaluated and readjusted Greasewood Springs community-based land use plan attached hereto as Exhibit A. This will be Amendment 1, Sananta. So we'd like to have a motion.
Motion, Chair. Motion Stewart.
Honorable Stewart, second by
Daniels.
Honorable Daniels. Questions? None. Honorable Freeland, how do you vote on Amendment 1? Honorable Freeland? Honorable Stewart?
Green.
Honorable Begay?
Agreeing for the amendment, but I have a comment, Chair.
Oh, would you like to comment on the main motion after we vote?
Yes, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Walker?
I vote green.
Honorable Daniels?
Green.
Honorable Freeland?
Green.
Green. A vote of 5 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. Amendment 1 passes. Back to the main motion. I'll recognize Honorable Begay.
Chair.
Honorable, go ahead.
Key Allen. Nothing against the sponsor, Mr. Smith. Well, personally, if someone is sponsoring legislation that really impacts my local chapter, I would be kind of upset in a way, because delegates, there's a reason why we're elected by each chapter. And delegates are in the position, if we may not like them, I'm not saying that you guys are, but they're the ones that really are the voice for the local community. So we can't just put somebody in there just so that the document is passed forward without specific discussion. Yes, local chapters, they may not attune to our advocacy to certain areas, but it's very much beneficial with oversight certain things on programs at the council level. Need age Alan Hayahatot at the council floor of the plan that you have presented to us, and could he further, or the delegate could further advocate for the local chapter on certain areas within each of the chapter. Seek a water line, the power line, by Ado attain housing by looking through the document, there are several objectives for each of the areas, but the one thing that I always bring up at the committee level, and which I believe majority of the people chooses not to talk about, but we do have a problem at each of the community. Because has oh you be na hot mean be na wheat eto na that John hit the banana they say. Other grazing officials then Sadi Kada the Kasha, which is the availability of community cemeteries. Akoko elakit fato papaya aside from all the other listings that you provided at the beginning of your land use plan. All you have is the land use. I don't know if it's within the public community facilities, open space preservations, residential, transportation, infrastructure, economic development, and grazing and agricultural. So, and I appreciate you. You guys mentioned the illegal dumping. Chapters because all it outlined is for objective. How can we mandate that each chapter should set aside a certain amount of dollars on an annual budget dealing and developing these particular community projects? And this is I brought this up to the RDC member. Okay, what's after? Chapters Liniki, Beso Sapani, Jacoyan Ahaki, Ada type and Nachish, Beso yet, okay, the stole Adhanet, Nala, Beso this. Just because that we approve a land use plan, okay, what dig at Openasi, Glito, Yiskanto, planning meeting or chapter meeting. How is the chapter turning around and start working on all these projects? Ado, where is the ASC and Division Community Development? How were they involved in developing this particular land use plan as well? That's it. Oh, Dana, Chehonanat, Ito, that's it. Bookshop, that's Obakat, Nanat, Aho, Aden David, Naho, Justina, Nahe, Aden Hani, Renat, or Nick, Aden, that's in the Ohananat, Onahalenko, on his whole Justita. A copy Nata, and then Linikito, chapter officials, Dan Nico, couldn't get Nahot, Ni. What's the purpose of certifying? Maybe it's time, Chair, RDC members, maybe it's time for us to revisit the land use plan, proper procedure of what we should mandate for each chapter and what each chapter should be as far as follow-up. A lot of these chapters are in sanction. These chapters are sanctioned, but yet they're losing out in getting things done at the community level. So if Delegate Smith is in the position to start advocating for the Greasewood Springs in sponsoring this legislation, maybe get a response from him to say that, okay, we're going to approve this, but what is it specifically that the Greasewood Springs chapter is really asking that the Windrush level government to say that these are the areas that we propose and these are the amount of funding that we need, these are the type of service that we're asking for, and these are the department or the programs that we're asking to continue to assist in developing this particular land use plan. So we really need to be serious, to get serious on these particular issues. So Chair, I believe that certifying land use plan, it shouldn't be just a rush to say that, yes, okay, go ahead and approve it. But there's got to be a follow-up process that Division Community Development and the ASC, and they're the one that should have a part in making certain comments, and that should be also be included to say that, yes, we support this, and this is how we've helped the local community. 2021 budget liniki dit ashin kato pe pan ni drato le jota niniki ki huda haki kan dit isit o be drato o be o be landa yitle a khote. So this is a prime example again, Mr. Smith. Nothing against you, but would it be more beneficial for the local official, especially the delegate, to sponsor certain legislation on behalf of their chapter, to sincerely, even though there may be differences, I don't know, but even though if there's maybe differences, but this is what we're planning on, this is how we're working together on behalf of our community. That's our focus. So, Chair, again, like I said, if the committee decides to move forward, we'll be at fault. Again, what will the delegate that represents the chapters to say that we really need to be serious in presenting legislations to the committee and to the council. Maybe it's been the practice from the previous, but I mean, and the reason why I say this is that it's just a matter that the council or the committee just passes legislations and that's it. Because we really don't mandate or put or set aside certain fundings with these legislations that we pass or direct services to be done from the programs. So it's all used at the end, I believe, I don't know. But in such case, 5 chapters that I represent. So again, if neighboring, if this was a specific request by the chapter officials to ask another delegate, I mean, like I said, personally, I will be upset with my chapter officials to ask another delegate to sponsor legislation. Like for me, if I sponsor a legislation on certain things that really benefit the community, how would he feel? I mean, that's the thing that I would ask, hey, maybe get a letter from the delegates to say that it's okay for you to sponsor legislation. Chairman. So with that, again, the understanding and respecting one another is really needs to be the utmost in collaborating with the committee. I mean, the delegates that who we represent from each of the chapter, because we're the ones here. Chapters and community members. ko hoda age hapan sata sha ashode don si ini sinitan kitna enni gito ahot haki ade na hot ki eti siki papa ye to pan huit ado papa pap to pa hanait she hot alle is in test case, so it wouldn't be more beneficial for me to be talking on behalf of a chapter in San Juan or Nayizi or other areas, Birch Springs, because I would say I can't do this because I know there's a delegate from that area that needs to do this, sponsor this legislation. That would be my first response to an individual that asks me to sponsor legislation. So anyway, I think I would begin to repeat myself, but that's one thing that really need for us to understand. RDC members need clinici, halet elati, IC yego, and now just the land use plan. We just agree, approve it, and then what? Ilanana, ko need age yego ya hato zhan la to kwina ga ko ake the best on anen clinici. Ashanan abebeke de sisto did alan hoto nifiki not to say that I don't acknowledge the local chapter officials, but why isn't that they didn't go directly to their delegates to ask for a sponsorship of this legislation, even though they may have differences? I don't know. So what Ela chairman did so a lot of these we should really put a hold on these land use plan and maybe really revisit the process. Maybe that way they'll really consider, in order for you to have access to this funding to really benefit your community, there's got to be a specific way that these land use plans are presented before the committee. The inter equity basis in the Likini Papa be Banha Hot or Lihoto near that in that I see his own next in the store that Nanson Ban case or the So I don't just feel comfortable just having a document to be approved and then nothing follows. So what else should I seat of this chairman?
Thank you, Honorable Begay. Appreciate your concerns there. Let me go back to Honorable Smith. Honorable Smith.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable.
You hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Some can introduce, and I was requested, asked. Nobody's come forward to say. So, Mr. Smith, what are you doing? No comments on that. Call Onasikas. It's a land use plan, and I understand this is going to be their first resolution in Chiche. It's past the Priestwood chapter. C.
Honorable Smith, we can't hear you.
So, the resolution was passed back in January 9th of 2020 by 20 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstain to endorse the local and for the chapter autonomy regarding the land use plan. Yeah, this is out of my area, but I'm just trying to help out. Need.
Honorable Smith. Can't hear you.
I don't know, Syndicate. I'm in a bad situation here. So I know that I have Ronald me on this legislation. There's chapters at request from the council. And we go to the council chambers. So I'm not doing anything illegal, Shache. I know that you're always got your feelers out. Always look at things at a different angle. But
Honorable Vice Chair Smith, we can't hear you, sir.
the chapter has passed a resolution, and that's where it's at. Without, I'll get off the phone right now because the reception is really bad. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Smith. Sananda, we've passed numerous land use plans for chapters, and we encourage chapters to identify their community cemeteries as well, up to 40 acres. And I believe that they are responsible for a lot of these plans to be implemented at their local communities. Any other comments, questions? If not, we'll go ahead and put it to a vote. There's a motion by Honorable Daniel, second by Honorable Stewart. Honorable Freeland, how do you vote, sir?
Green.
Honorable Stewart? Honorable Stewart? Honorable Begay?
Chairman, Chairman, again, it really does. I have a concern, in a way, to vote green without the delegate, and I'm not telling Mr. Smith that he's doing things illegal. That's not my point. My point is that the delegate that represents each chapter should be more appropriate to sponsor these legislations, because they're the one that will be advocating and continue advocating for the chapters at the council level of what we've discussed and what we've approved. So I vote red, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Walker?
I vote green.
Honorable Daniels?
Chair, legislation, I heard it from Mr. Gishi, so I'm going to vote green on this.
Okay. Honorable Stewart?
Sorry, Chair. I'll vote green.
Okay. A vote of 4 in favor, 1 opposed, and chair not voting. Motion carries for legislation 0059-20. Thank you. Sponsor, Honorable Smith and Mr. Gishi. We have 20 minutes before our special session. Would you like to adjourn or go to reports, or we can reschedule the reports? But there's one item that we need to take care of, Shananta. What are your wishes? The one item that I'm referring to, well, there's two, C and D, under new business. Since we're under new business, we can take care of those two, and then we can adjourn and reschedule the reports for next Wednesday.
Yes, Chair. I agree with that.
Okay. Let's go to C, Shananta. Approving a RDC leadership meeting in preparation for the upcoming waterline projects with IHS, OEH, NTUA, Navajo Nation Land Development, as well as General Land Development Department, BIA, NECA, Navajo Nation Office of Controller, and Division of Community Development. I'd like to have a motion.
Motion, Chair.
Honorable Stewart, motion, second by? there a second?
This is Daniel. I'll second.
Okay. Honorable Daniel seconds that motion. Ms. McGay, could you find us a date for that? And perhaps email it to us, Ms. McGay? Any questions?
I can do that.
Okay, thank you, Ms. McGay. Any questions on this, honorable members of RDC? None? Honorable Freeland, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Stewart?
Green.
Honorable Begay?
Green.
Honorable Walker?
I vote green.
Honorable Daniels?
Green.
A vote of 5 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting, motion carries. We'll approve that leadership meeting. D, with Navajo Nation Oil and Gas, an update report from Department of Justice as well. Would like to have Ms. Begay also find a date for us, please. Motion. Nanta.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. Motion.
Motion, Chair.
Honorable Daniels. Motion. Second by.
Second, Stewart.
Okay. Honorable Stewart. Any questions? Honorable Freeland,
Chair.
how do you vote?
Chair.
Yes.
I have a comment or a quick question.
Go ahead, Honorable Daniel.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know the RDC members. On this meeting with the DOJ, are we going to include Navajo Nation Oil and Gas as well, Chair?
We can do that, Honorable Daniel.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. McGay, make sure to invite Oil and Gas as well as Minerals Department. Any other questions?
Okay, will do.
Okay. Honorable Freeland, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Stewart?
Green.
Honorable Begay?
Green.
Honorable Walker?
I vote green.
Honorable Daniels?
I vote green.
A vote of 5 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. Motion carries. We'll have a leadership meeting scheduled with Navajo Nation Oil and Gas as well as DOJ and Minerals Department. I believe we ran out of time. We have our special session for the 24th Navajo Nation Council, which begins in about 15 minutes. And I'd like to ask Mr. Jason John, Mr. Watchman, Mr. Shorty, and also Mr. Taylor to come back next Wednesday and provide us a report. So thank you very much. And is there any other announcements?
Chairman Keelan.
Honorable Begay.
Chair, maybe at the council, as our chair for RDC, for some reason I was thinking that the session was tomorrow, which is Thursday, but I did today after Hazona.
Honorable Begay. Ashwada, could you put your phones on mute, please? Whoever's on the line, it's very distracting. Honorable Begay, go ahead. Honorable Begay.
Chairman Keelan.
Yes, go ahead.
I got bumped off, but maybe stress that the council needs to also respect committees' Title II meeting schedules. a lot of time we these meetings are being scheduled, and which makes committee meetings to be in a rush mode. Could maybe on behalf of RDC express that concern to speaker at the council session to say that the session schedule maybe certain days. I think all the committee meetings are only on Monday, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays. We don't have anything on Friday, so it would be more appropriate to have the sessions on Fridays if that's possible. So so I'm sure some people were ready to hear part of the report that was going to be given by the Division of Natural Resource. So Bahasito, the Chairman, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Begay. We definitely will address the issue, so we're not rushed through our committee meetings. Although what we can do is have a special RDC meeting as well and put all the reports on there. And perhaps Ms. Begay can schedule that to us, and I can sign the memo also. So, Nathan, thank you, Honorable Begay. Any other announcements, RDC members?
Sinai, I have an announcement.
Go ahead, Honorable Stewart.
Yeah, I have a letter from a family out here addressed to all of us as RDC committee members. So I'm going to go ahead and email that to you all just so you're aware of it, and get your input on that, and then see which way we want to go with that. Okay, so just be on the heads up on that one. Yes and I.
Thank you, Honorable Stewart. Any other announcements? Motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Who's this? Stewart?
Stewart Freeland.
Honorable Freeland and Honorable Stewart. Second. Any questions? Honorable Freeland, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Stewart?
Green.
Honorable Begay?
Green.
Honorable Walker?
I vote green.
Honorable Daniels?
Green.
A vote of 5 in favor, 0 opposed. Chair not voting. Motion carries. We'll adjourn at 1:48 p.m. and we'll get online for the special session next. There's 2 items on the agenda. So thank you. Take care. God bless you.
Yeah, Chairman Nez, we'll see you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Is that Chairman Henry?
Good meeting. Oh, good meeting.
Okay.
Yes, good meeting, brother. Good meeting.
Thank you.